Eat my shit! When you were a dumb kid watching Kiki's Delivery Service for the first time, did you ever just think to yourself, the only thing that could make this better is if I could see up the witch's skirt every 5 minutes? This is my life. So I'm gonna assume that was just me. Either way, I've got the perfect show for anyone who wants to re-experience Kiki, called Majimoji. Fuck. This show. You sound like a wanker every time you say it. By the way, I'm Mahigo. This is my channel. I should probably start saying that from now on. What was I talking about again? The garbage version of Kiki with all the panty shots. And if you don't like fan service, you shouldn't be a huge fucking faggot. In all seriousness, believe me when I say that I actually liked the large amount of fan service involved in the series. Although that might just be because boobs. Pretty cool. Sure, it seemed excessive and even annoying at times, but overall it did far more good for the series than bad. Aside from introducing our protagonist, Shibaki, as your lovable idiot, it added to this weird atmosphere the show has going for it. Everything in Rurumo feels close yet far away, as if just the slightest nudge would push someone over the edge into complete insanity. Having an atmosphere like this, completely unlike what you'd find in your typical light novel garbage, led to a genuinely unique and fun experience. Rurumo used fan service in the same way as your typical spastic anime comedy, and hey, who doesn't love your typical spastic anime comedy? But that alone doesn't amount to much. It's only in addition to everything else the show has that it can finally show us what it can do. And what it can do is create a fun and unique atmosphere that you can only find in a show like it. Using fan service in this way led to an almost heartwarming experience, a statement that I'm sure some of you will challenge. But since the show used its fan service well, I don't think there's anything wrong with my claim. Take my favourite incident from episode 6. The setup for what happens is that Shibaki finds a giant stack of porn laying around. As someone who's earned the nickname Shibaki the Pervert, I'm not even fucking with you, but with that nickname you'd obviously expect him to want to take it home with him and add it to his library, and yes, he calls it a library. Pretty dumb, right? Well, even the show thinks so, as 2 girls from his school walk up to Shibaki and see what he's doing. This leaves him in a state of complete and utter panic. He desperately searches for a way to escape the predicament he's found himself in. As while he's openly perverted around other guys, he's hated by girls for being a pathetic piece of human garbage. Hey, that's just like me, except the guys also hate me. At this point, anime has taught us that he should get punished for his perverted lifestyle. Just being open towards the idea that sex does in fact exist is enough to make him a character that we can look down upon. We're even given a justifiable reason to laugh at our protagonist in this example. So that's obviously what's going to happen, right? He's instead given the perfect way to knock him off as a complete ass and picks up a box full of 3 stray kittens instead. Some people might consider this a punishment in its own right, but as someone who doesn't have shit taste in animal companions, I don't think so. The show has instead created something funny and new. We still get to laugh at the scenario, only instead of it being at him, it's at how completely different what he got was from what he wanted. This subversion isn't even what makes the scene great, although it does help. What makes it great is that the entire episode just goes with it. We get to see Shibaki raise the kittens and watch as they each develop their own personalities. We see the struggles they go through and bond over. Shibaki gets genuinely closer to the kittens and works hard to give them the life that they deserve. And he ultimately has to deal with letting them go at the end of the episode. The fan service is definitely present, and it's an important part of the episode, but the show didn't go with what your typical fan service series would do. It created the perfect balance of dumb and fun by incorporating fan service naturally into the plot, while not letting it dominate and become the focus. The show didn't have to go this far, but it did. Everything's filled with a level of charm that you could only really find in something like Kiki's Delivery Service, which is why I think the two should be compared, although there is also the witches with slice of life angle they both have. By the way, did I mention the show as witches? Rurumo is the cutest little witch, making her the perfect waifu. And best witch. Way better than all these other bitches. They're garbage. What, you disagree with my opinion about something that doesn't matter? Well then, fight me. Actually, please ignore what I just said. She's so cute that she advances to the next stage from a waifu to a daughteru. She added charm to the show, and the show made her charming. This created an endless cycle that I could never escape from, much like my addiction to anime. And crippling depression. It was the little things, like how she gave Shibaki complete control of her dark, evil sorcery. Wishes. She gave him wishes. He'll die when he uses all of them. She didn't know that though. The cat told him. Rumo never finds out. Why wasn't she aware of something so important that she should know by simply being a witch and shouldn't even have to be told in the first place? Doesn't really matter. My theory is that she has Down syndrome.
What are you doing? How can you be this bad?
The show never gives an explanation. The point being that her only setting up a contract because she didn't know allows the show to use the premise to do 3 things at once. It justifies Shibaki not using the wishes he was given to solve every problem, shows how kind and dumb Rurumo is, and it forces her into a personal relationship with Shibaki against her will. Because of this, it doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to make her a cute anime girl. The show does as much possible with something as simple as its premise. It's fine when you don't even have to think about something like this and just accept everything that happens. You're like, oh, this is just anime, I don't give a shit. But you can tell a show is great when you do think about it and find something new to appreciate. If you're able to think about a show and recognize the genius in something like the premise, then it automatically gives the show charm, even if the show itself doesn't seem like it should be put anywhere near the word. Like, I don't know, being an anime fan who isn't an obnoxious prick. Honestly, that's the biggest reason why I kept watching Rurumo. It has charm.
Yo, look at it! 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 I want all of you to look at it!
I think the main reason the show is so charming, aside from Rurumo herself, is that it takes its time with everything it does. Like how this girl is really into cosplay, and we can get that instantly, based on the few brief exchanges Rurumo has with the character. We can immediately tell that we're probably going to get an episode with her, but the show doesn't rush in to give her one. We're left wondering what will happen when we do. She doesn't get one until the second half, and in the episodes leading up to it, we're left to think about what kind of dynamics she'll share with Rurumo and how they'll interact. It makes me want to come back and find out what happens next. And this drive to return to a show with an episodic storyline is something that I find a lot of series that go for this lack, and why I tend to drop them so quickly. Now, all this time I've been praising the show, as if it's been giving me blowjobs in the sly, but don't let that give you the wrong idea. The show has charm, and I found it to be very easy to watch. Still nothing more than a 6 out of 10 to me. And while I do think it's a perfect 6 out of 10, if you go in with any expectations above some great crack, prepare to be disappointed. I found it to be entertaining, and hope that someone else might as well. Don't feel the need to immediately go watch this, but do keep it in the back of your mind for when you want to watch something you don't have to think too hard about. After all, there are definitely worse shows that are more popular from which you could choose. Cough. Speaking of popular, what else aired that season that made people not notice Rurumo? Let's see, summer 2014. And... Oh no. Based on the few brief exchanges Rurumo... fucking hell, her name.